Good afternoon. We're back with more Marvel Champions, and today will be a card review of the SPDR Hero Pack. Penny Parker. We're coming off of the Spider-Ham Hero Pack, which is a candidate for best hero in the game. And we've also had Ironheart, who is an S tier hero, and Ghost Spider, who is an S tier hero this cycle. So after going for quite a while without a really strong hero, now we've gotten 3 of them. This probably reflects a new design philosophy once they finished with the Venom Hero Pack. After that, they started developing with let's say some different ideas. Anyway, let's take a look at SPDR. Penny Parker has 4 recovery, 4 hand size, and alter ego. That's really low. Not a good sign. The thing that separates one hero from another is it pretty much comes down to resource generation. As the power levels in terms of how much a hero thwarts or attacks for, how much their event cards or upgrades thwart or attack for, it's pretty much standardized across all the heroes. They vary a little bit from hero to hero, but only a little bit. We're talking a difference of like 1 typically between one hero to another. Like if we compare Heroic Strike to Bands of Criteract, yes, Bands of Criteract does 1 more damage and costs 1 less, but you also have to exhaust Doctor Strange to do it, which comes with a cost. Compare like Heroic Strike to Swinging Web Strike, same cost, but 1 stuns and 1 does 2 more damage. There's minor differences, but they're all pretty standardized. The thing that separates one hero from another is resource generation. Spider-Ham is strong because he has superior resource generation. Doctor Strange is strong because of Winds of Watum and because of Sorcerer Supreme. If he didn't have those cards, he'd be very middling. Iron Man is strong because his hand size goes up to 7. So when you see a hero that starts at 4, that sets off warning bells. They'll need to compensate for that in a big way. Let's take a look. Setup, put SPDR suit into play, inactive side face up. Alter ego action, exhaust SPDR suit, draw 2 cards. Okay, so that'll get you up to 6 while you're in alter ego, assuming you don't have another use for the SPDR suit. SPDR suit on the active side, 2 thwart, 2 attack, 2 defense. We're going to need to take a look at this card in the game board because it's going to make more sense. If you're just looking at this hero, having never seen it before, I don't know that this format is going to make it make sense. So let's switch over to the game board. So here we have the game board. We have the SPDR suit and we have the alter ego. These 2 go together. When you flip one, you flip both. And so when you're on the inactive side, you can use Penny Parker's alter ego action to exhaust the suit. And then you draw 2 cards. When you're on the active side, you've got 2/2/2 stats. You've got resource, exhaust, and interface upgrade you control to generate that upgrade's resources. A hand size of 3 and hit points of 14. So when you're on the inactive side, you can draw 2 cards. When you're on the active side, you can generate 1 resource because this is an interface upgrade. And then the text of this upgrade card is basically just specifying that you switch the counters and buffs between the SPDR suit or between. You move them over to Penny Parker when you're on alter ego and you move them over to SPDR suit when you're in the hero mode, which is taken care of by this program rather nicely. So with hand size of only 3, that's crazy low. We're going to need insane resource generation to overcome that. Can generate 1 resource per round. That's nice, but Spider-Ham generates more than that per round, and he starts with a hand size of 5. But let's take a look at her cards and see what we got. Venom. 4-cost ally, 1 thwart, 1 attack. Venom gets +1 thwart and +1 attack for each sim counter on her. After Venom enters play, place one sim counter on her for each resource generated by SPDR's suit's sync ratio ability to pay for her. So for each interface upgrade that you've exhausted in order to pay for Venom, it gets +1 in stats. Let's see. So we want to get... We'd probably need to pay for this card with like 3 interface upgrades in order to make it good. If you gave her +3 attack, so 4 attack, that would be strong. If you could only do +2, so it's 3, it's pretty middling for 3. If this has 3 stats, it's pretty middling. 2, it's bad. If you can only do +1, it's bad. So this is kind of a late game card after you've gotten set up already. If you can get set up with 3 interface upgrades that you can use to pay for this, or 4 would be incredible. Well, not incredible, but really, really strong with 4. Good with 3, with 2, and 1, it's bad. So this is a late game card. Early game, it'll get thrown away to pay for other things. But will be well above average for a hero-specific ally if you could use 4 interface upgrades to pay for it. With 3, it's pretty good as well. All systems go. Event, choose, ready each interface upgrade you control. Search your deck and discard pile for an interface upgrade and add it to your hand. That's pretty good. So if you could use this to... Well, if you have 2 interface upgrades, you could generate at least 2 resources, plus whatever else the interface upgrades do. We'll have to see what they do in order to fully judge this card, so let's keep going. Get 3 all systems go. Rapid deployment, 2-cost event, remove 3 threat from a scheme. If you paid for this card using a resource generated by sync ratio, remove 3 threat from a scheme. Well, 6 threat for 2 cost is very good. For threat removal, that's really, really strong. As a general rule, 2 for 1 is just okay. 3 for 1 is exceptional. But for threat removal tends to be inefficient. So this is pretty good. I like it. You only have to generate 1 of the resources with sync ratio. Yeah, it's good. It's strong. Web Trap. Deal 5 damage. 2 cost, deal 5 damage to an enemy. If you paid for this card using a resource generated by sync ratio, stun that enemy. Exceptional value for this card, assuming that you use a sync ratio resource. Exceptional value. Very strong events, far from SPDR. But again, we're not really looking for strong events, we're looking for resources. And she comes with a big downside, which is -2 hand size in hero form. So we're looking for compensation for that. We're not looking to overcome a resource deficit with threat removal or damage. That's not going to fly. Resource generation is so far and above damage or threat removal in terms of its importance that you can remove hand size of 1 from a hero, put them at 4 hand size instead of the standard 5, and give them, like, I don't know, 1.5 times the normal power level on all of their events. And they're still going to not match hand size 5 heroes. That's how important resource generation is. Resource generation turns a hero like Spider-Ham from it's a pretty like understated hero, right? It's 2/1/1. That's pretty bad. That's 2 stats less than normal, and yet he's super good. Just purely on his resource generation. So these events are strong, but they don't make up for SPDR's low hand size. We'll need something else for that. Aunt May and Uncle Ben. 1 cost support. Action, exhaust Aunt May and Uncle Ben and discard the top 2 cards of your deck. Top 3 instead if you are in alter ego form. Add each SPDR card discarded this way to your hand. Okay, that's strong. Let's say generously, well, we're not going to get an SPDR card every single time on average because you have 15 SPDR cards in your deck and you're going to have a deck of 40. So it's a little bit more than 1 in 3 for each discard. That probably amounts to about a 50-50 chance. Just off the top of my head without doing the math, it's probably something like 50-50 to get an SPDR card. So this makes up for what we really need. We would need like 4 of these to get her up to hand size 5. 4 copies of Aunt-May and Uncle Ben. So this is something. It helps get her closer. It's only a 1 of though. And she's going to be slow cycling through her deck. We'll need more in resource generation. We haven't seen any of her interface upgrades yet. So we got support. 0 cost. Ejection protocol, a 0 cost support. Discard ejection protocol. Exhaust each interface upgrade you control. Set your hit point dial to 6. Give your identity a tough status card and flip to alter ego form. Okay. So 0 cost. You would want to probably use this after you've already exhausted your interface upgrades. Then you can get some healing, a tough status card, and you can flip over to alter ego, get some more healing, and then flip back. It's pretty good. I like it. It's a good card. Another strong, a pseudo event. It's a one-time use. It's a support, but it's a one-time use, so it's a pseudo event. Very strong for 0 cost. Very, very strong. This hero definitely has good events. SPDR command, 1 cost support. Hero action, exhaust SPDR command, and an interface upgrade, draw 1 card. Okay, so between this and Aunt-May and Uncle Ben, we're getting like 1.5 cards back of the 2 that we would normally have. But really, nerfing a hero and then giving her cards that just get her back to average isn't that good. We'd like to see her with a benefit that's greater than average in the end when she builds up. Exhaust SPDR command, choose and discard 1 card from your hand, ready an interface upgrade. Okay, probably going to use the card draw more often. A lot more often, unless the interface upgrades really blow us out of the water. Here's our first interface upgrade. It's 3 cost, host spider. Hero action, exhaust host spider, ready SPDR suit. That's expensive. Arc Reactor costs 2, Cloak of Levitation costs 2, and those ready up their heroes. This one costs 3. You can use the SPDR suit to generate another resource. Ready SPDR suit, but not SPDR. So actually, you can't use it to generate another resource. You're just getting the 2/2/2 resources from it. For no extra resource generation, I would say 3 cost is pretty expensive for this. Although I get that with the interface trait, it's going to do a variety of other things. So, okay, it's okay. I don't like when combo cards are overcosted to compensate for them being combo cards, though. Usually what you end up with is not a very playable combo. 2 cost upgrade, Psychic Link. Hero interrupt when SPDR suit makes a basic thwart. Exhaust Psychic Link. It gets +2 thwart for that thwart. You'd probably need to use this like 3 times to make it good. And that's not too difficult to do. It may not happen every game, but that's not too difficult to do, so I like it. It's a good upgrade. Speed Metal Alloy, 1 cost upgrade. When SPDR suit defends against an attack, exhaust Speed Metal Ally. It gets +2 defense for that defense. Okay, I like it. You only have to use this like twice to make it good. So now we're looking at some upgrades that are efficient. Host Spider, not really. It's overcosted by 1. I would like it a lot better at 2 cost. Psychic Link, though, is good, and Speed Metal Alloy is good. I'm guessing the next one's going to be an attack upgrade. Web Fluid Compressor. 2 cost when SPDR suit makes a basic attack. Exhaust Web Fluid Compressor, it gets +2 for that attack. And any of these can be used to generate a resource. So you're only going to use one of them per round for your basic abilities. Because you only have one action, maybe 2 some rounds, but typically it'll probably just be 1. And then you can exhaust the others to generate resources. So does the resource generation of Sync Ratio, Aunt May and Uncle Ben, and not Ejection Protocol, SPDR Command, do those make up for the weak hand size? It's tough to tell just by eyeballing it. So All Systems Go helps you to find those interface upgrades, or you can ready them. If you have a full board of like 3 or 4 upgrades and you use All Systems Go to ready them all at once, that's really, really strong. You could have some really big turns with that. But getting to that point where you can play all these will not be easy. This Host Spider costing 3, your hand size is only 3 to start the game. So you would have to exhaust the suit and then use the other 2 cards in the hand just to pay for Host Spider, and that means not doing anything else that round if you draw a Host Spider early. I don't think we're looking at an S tier hero here. I don't think there's enough here to overcome the hand size of 3, which is the lowest in the game. Once you get a full board with SPDR, she'll be pretty good. But I think it may take quite a while to get to that point. And probably then you're looking at a multiplayer focused hero. Not a solo hero, but we'll certainly test her out and see. Let's take a look at the aspect cards that come in this hero pack. The first ally is Daredevil. 2 cost, 2 thwart, 1 attack. When do we get a Daredevil hero? After Daredevil defends against an attack, move 1 damage from him to the attacking enemy. Okay, so if you could defend for 1 infinitely. Because you would take 1 damage and then immediately move that 1 damage to the attacking enemy. How many times would you need to do that to make this card good value? Not that many. If you could do that like twice, he'd be roughly equivalent to your average hero-specific ally. If you could do it 4 times, he'd be really good. I like this hero. I would definitely run him in a protection deck. He's good. Spider-Man Noir. 3 cost ally plus X thwart plus X attack. X thwart, X attack. X is equal to the number of face down cards attached to Spider-Man Noir. After you resolve a treachery, if you control another Web Warrior card, attach that treachery face down here to a maximum of 3. So you just keep him on the table until you've seen 3 treacheries. Then you attack twice. That's good. Good value. Definitely included in a Web Warrior deck. I like it. It's another protection. Looks like the best aspect for Web Warriors, though I really like leadership for Spider-Ham, but generally protection looks like the best aspect for Web Warriors. This will be a good addition to Ghost Spider, at least. Definitely would include it in Ghost Spider. Probably would throw Daredevil in there too. Repurpose, 0 cost event, discard a tech upgrade you control. Ready your hero and choose thwart, attack, or defense. Until the end of the round, your hero gets plus X to that chosen power, where X is equal to that upgrade's printed cost. Interesting. Okay, I don't think you're going to want to be discarding SPDR's tech upgrades. What about Iron Man? Iron Man likes to run a lot of tech upgrades that have counters that get removed. The plasma pistol, the energy barrier. So let's say that you play an energy barrier. You use 2 of the counters. So you've gotten 4 in value. Then you discard it for +2 to stats using repurpose. In that circumstance, it's decent because you could generally use Iron Man twice with Arc Reactor. What about other heroes? I think if you're discarding a tech upgrade and just getting 1 use out of this card, like if you don't have a way to ready your hero, I'm not sure it's very good. But there are a lot of interesting possibilities if you do have a way to ready your hero more than once. I'm thinking of something like Spider-Woman. If you buffed her up to 3 stats and then use this to add 3 to like +6 for 1 stat and then 3 for the others, you'd be like, you could do go all in at that point for 12 damage. And you could do 2 attacks for 6 using her ready ability. You could use this in like Quicksilver. There's a lot of combo potential for this, and it is good. Ready your hero and choose a stat, and you get +X to that stat. This is good, but it needs combo potential, and it's not good as in like it needs combo cards with it. It clearly needs the tech upgrades. And so it's not going to be good with every hero. Heroes that don't have the ability to ready, I don't think this is going to be worth it to run tech upgrades and repurpose with a hero that could only use it once. So let's do this to visualize what I'm talking about. Let's say that we've played Energy Barrier. Now, typically, if we didn't have repurpose, with an Energy Barrier and a basic action, we would get 6, 7, 8 in value. So that's what we compare it to. If we had repurpose, we would get 4, 5, 6 in value. Then we would play the repurpose and get +4 more. So we would get 8 instead of 6. If that makes sense. So the difference between repurpose and not repurpose is 2. -2 because we discard the energy barrier before it's fully used. +4 for the extra attack or thwart with +2 to the stat. That's okay. Now, if we have a second way to ready our hero, like if this was Doctor Strange, and we used the repurpose and got an extra attack or thwart for 4, or if this was another hero with 2 attack or whatever, and then we had a second way to ready them again and get another one for 4, then we'd be at +6, and now we're talking about something that's exceptional. So, with just a single use, with no additional ways to ready the hero, repurpose is okay. It's not bad, but it's nothing phenomenal, or, it's not like an auto-include in every deck. But if you have an additional way to ready the hero beyond the repurpose, like a Cloak of Levitation, like an Arc Reactor, or something like that, then we're talking about something exceptional. And that's just with a tech upgrade that costs 2. So a hero like Quicksilver, this would be interesting to experiment in, certainly with Spider-Woman, where you could go protection and then also play like go all in from the leadership sphere. Probably a wide variety of heroes that are capable of readying would be good with repurpose when they play protection. Certainly Seems like Ghost Spider could make good use of this. So probably this would mean altering Ghost Spider's deck to use like Energy Barrier and maybe another tech upgrade to go with Repurpose, because it is worth building around, I think, when you can ready your hero multiple times. It at least warrants experimentation. I like this card a lot. This card's probably worth the price of admission alone. If you were paying $15 just for this, which is what these hero packs cost in the US, if you're paying that just for this card alone, it would probably be worth it, because it's going to add functionality to a lot of different heroes in the collection. Iron Man most significantly. This probably elevates Iron Man, and he was already really good. I don't think this is going to have him competing with Spider-Ham, because it doesn't add any resources. So it's not like a game changer, but it does add functionality, fun, and playability to a wide variety of different heroes. I like it. Thwip Thwip. 2-cost event. Deal 1 damage to a Web Warrior character you control. Place a total of 2 stun status cards on up to 2 enemies. Well, that's very good with Spider-Ham if you're running Protection Spider-Ham. I think Leadership is best with him, but 1 damage would generate a resource, so this would only basically cost 1. Now, the first stun on the boss has a lot of value. The second stun on a minion is going to have less value, because the minions attack for a lot less than a boss. So I'd give this like a value of around 6 or so, and so would I run this if I wasn't playing Spider-Ham? I think it's a little bit light on value if you don't have a character that takes advantage of damage. Now, if you could use this on an ally, well, actually, I don't know if that's any better. You're still taking away about the same amount of value generally. You would need to be sure that you were never going to need that 1 damage for the rest of the game, I guess. But it's very good on Spider-Ham. In fact, it seems kind of made for him specifically, since he doesn't have a way to stun in his kit, but he does have a way to confuse. Would I run this in SPDR? Well, if I was running, if we were playing against a boss with, or a scenario with multiple bosses like Sinister Six, this would be extremely good. But a lot of the time, so you're going to be not having any minions on the board, because we generally want to clear minions the same turn they come in. And so Thwip Thwip, it'll be in your hand sometimes, or a lot of the time, when you really only have 1 thing to stun on the board, and 2 cost and 1 damage for 1 stun is not good. If you're stunning like a 3 damage enemy, okay, yeah, this is pretty playable, but a lot of the time you'll be stunning a 1 damage one, or not having anything to stun at all. So I don't think I would run this outside of Spider-Ham. I don't think it provides quite enough value. Energy Barrier we've seen before. Force Field Generator. Okay, a new tech upgrade, and it's a 3-cost one. There's only, I think, 1 or 2 others in the game. The Psychic Spider. Was that a tech upgrade or just an interface upgrade? I can't remember. But Iron Man has his Mark V armor. Force Field Generator, being at 3 cost, it seems obvious that it will combo well with Repurpose. Uses 6 energy counters, max 1 per player. When you would take any amount of damage, remove that many energy counters from here. For each energy counter removed this way, prevent 1 of that damage. Alright, let's go to the game board to visualize this. So we've got our Force Field Generator with 6 counters. Typically, we would be paying 3 cost plus the card to prevent 6 damage. That's not very good. That's not very efficient. I don't think you run Force Field Generator without something else that takes advantage of tech upgrades. Now let's say we spend 5 of this, get 5 value, and then an additional attack for 5 with the repurpose. Okay, so that's 10 value for 3 plus 2 cards. It's okay. Now, if you can get this value, you really need another way to ready your hero, and if you have that, so repurpose plus force field generator with just a single use, no other ways to ready the hero, it's roughly the same value as energy barrier. It's okay. But repurpose with force field generator and a second way to ready your hero, like a cloak of levitation or an arc reactor or something like that, that's very strong value. So, just like energy barrier, this is a combo that works well in some heroes, but not that well in others. And in a deck that ran energy barrier and repurpose, I probably would run force field generator too. If I could find room for everything, I probably would. It's a good combo. It'll make for interesting possibilities for a lot of different heroes, in particular Quicksilver, who likes to ready himself more than once per round. That would be quite entertaining with Quicksilver, repurpose Quicksilver build. I'd be interested to try that out for sure. Maybe throw a symbiote suit in there as well. That'd be fun. Spider Tingle, 1 cost upgrade. Like this art. Spider Tingle is usually when the danger is not obvious. Does he need the Spider Tingle in this particular situation? It's an interrupt. When you would reveal an encounter card, deal 1 damage to a Web Warrior character you control. If that card is a treachery, cancel its when revealed effects and discard Spider Tingle. So it's the same card that is featured in a few different decks, but it costs 1 damage. Whereas usually the card just costs 1 resource, not 1 resource and 1 damage. You can do it to any Web Warrior character. It doesn't have to be your hero. I think typically you'll want to do it to your hero, though. There's probably specific challenges that make sense to use this. Generally, though, I don't think it's very good, except with Spider-Ham, where it's exceptional. It's really, really good with Spider-Ham, and this elevates his protection build. This card and Thwip Thwip seem specifically built for Spider-Ham. The Spider-Ham hero pack was really light on like aspect cards and new cards. Seems like these cards, Spider Tingle and Thwip Thwip, were actually should have probably been included in the Spider-Ham hero pack because they seem designed for him specifically. But they split them up. Anyway, Spider Tingle very good with Spider-Ham. I don't think I'll run it outside of Spider-Ham though. Speaking of, Spider-Ham ally, 3 cost, 2 thwart, 2 attack. Play only if you control a Web Warrior card. After Spider-Ham attacks or thwarts, discard the top card of the encounter deck for each boost icon discarded. Deal 1 damage to Spider-Ham. So you could just get 1 use out of him. If you did, he's bad. If you get 2, he's okay. If you get 3, he's good. You probably get 2 most often. But depends on the encounter deck, depends on the difficulty of the scenario. He's a risky card. Probably it would take some math to determine if he's any good or not. Just eyeballing him, he's probably a little bit worse than the average hero-specific ally. Rarely exceptional, sometimes bad, would be my assessment. Whether I'd run him in a Web Warrior deck, I don't know. Depends on how many other strong Web Warrior allies I had in the deck, I guess. If I was running protection, maybe not. Another aspect, maybe. Maybe. I don't know. I'd need to test him to see how it feels to play him, but looking at him, I think he's probably, my guess would be a little bit worse than the average hero-specific ally. Certainly nothing exceptional, though he has the potential to be exceptional if you high roll with him. Spider-Man Otto Octavius, 2 cost ally, 1 thwart, 2 attack. Play only if you control a Web Warrior after you play Spider-Man from your hand. As I've learned, when it says Spider-Man like this, it tends to be self-referential, which just means when you play this card, Spider-Man, not when you play any card titled Spider-Man. Ready an upgrade you control if that upgrade has the tech trait draw one card. This is a great ally in any deck that has tech upgrades, I think. Very, very strong in any deck that has tech upgrades. This is an exceptional card. And an auto include if you have the Web Warrior trait. And so I think that would be like specifically for SPDR. Or if you're running a Web Warrior and you're running like a repurpose build, but probably just with SPDR is where this card belongs. And in an SPDR deck, he's exceptional. Very, very good. Auto include. Limitless Stamina, 1 cost event, play only if your identity has at least 14 printed hit points. That's not very many. 1 cost to ready your hero. Okay. Well, if you've used that in combination with Repurpose, it's very good. But now we're talking about a 3-card combo, and those are hard to pull off in any game, and especially in a game where you really don't want to hold cards in your hand because it hurts your resource generation, hurts your cycling through the deck to find your good cards. It could be worth messing around with. And maybe. It's a superpower, so Deft Focus would work with it. On average, it's not good. It needs, I think, specific combos to make it good, like Repurpose. So probably it's a little bit too clunky because it requires like 2 other cards to make it good, and that's hard to set up. So I would say this is more of a fun or thematic card. It's not going to be good on high difficulty in solo. Multiplayer to be more playable. Unshakable, 1 cost upgrade, play only if your identity has at least 14 hit points. Your identity gains Steady. Steady characters require 2 status cards of the same type to be stunned or confused. I don't think I'd run a specific card just for that. No scenarios really come to mind that stun you so much that you would need a card like this. So it's nice that there's a solution if a scenario ever does come out that's really stun happy. But otherwise, this seems like a more of a thematic card. And I probably wouldn't play it, even if my identity has 14 hit points. Clarity of Purpose, 1 cost upgrade attached to a friendly character, max 1 per character. Exhaust this card and deal 1 damage to attached character, generate a wild resource. Whoa. That's unbelievable on Spider-Man. Spider-Ham, not Spider-Man. Spider-Ham generates a resource when he takes damage, so 1 cost, you exhaust this, deal 1 damage, and you generate 2 resources? And then 2 resources every turn after that? That upgrades Spider-Ham to best hero in the game, at least for solo. That is unbelievable value for Spider-Ham. That's 3 cards in this hero pack that are really good with Spider-Ham. And it's a leadership card, which we already want to play anyway. Yeah. With this Clarity of Purpose, that's incredibly strong. I just talked earlier about how it's all about resource generation. And this specifically, this generates so much resources with Spider-Ham. Really, really good card for him. Now, is it good with anybody else? 1 damage for a resource. It could be if the hero has really efficient healing, but not a lot do. 4 recovery. Let's say with SPDR, she's got 14 hit points. If you're playing leadership SPDR, would you run this? It's an upgrade, but not a tech upgrade. I don't know. It seems specifically made for Spider-Ham. Deal 1 damage, so you increase the likelihood you'll have to go down to Alter Ego, which we really don't want to do in solo play, but generating a wild resource every turn until you have to do that. I think you need really efficient healing to make this good. You need like the recovery of 5, I think. If not another way to heal like Ant-Man's helmet or pin particles. On Ant-Man, this could be good because of his healing once he's all set up. Definitely good on Spider-Ham. Probably going to be good on any hero that has 5 recovery. 4 is probably pushing it. 4 is probably not enough to make this good. It's close though. We need testing with a hero with 4 recovery or another way to heal. But with Spider-Ham, unbelievable card. Really, really, really good. And probably elevates Spider-Ham to best hero in the game for solo play because of his resource generation. So be a must-buy hero pack for a Spider-Ham player. And is that the only aspect card in this pack besides protection? Yes, it was. Okay. Well, SPDR doesn't look bad and looks like fun, but I don't think we're looking at an S tier hero because of that hand size 4, hand size 3. She's just going to be so bad early. I think she's going to be really, really bad early. And in solo, if you're playing on high difficulty, you really have like 2 turns. If you're not generating more resources than you started the game with, by turn 2, you're going to lose if you're playing on it against any Heroic 1 quests. And I do require that a hero be able to defeat Heroic 1 quests in order to be considered an S tier hero. And SPDR, she's just going to be pretty slow and clunky in the early game and probably not very good except with a really good draw, but we'll have to test her to be sure. However, Repurpose and Clarity of Purpose are incredible and probably worth buying the hero pack for all on their own. In particular, Repurpose, which is going to add functionality to a lot of different heroes and fun. And Spider-Man Noir, which is going to add to Ghost Spider. And then Force Field Generator Force Field Generator is not really related to Clarity of Purpose, but Force Field Generator will be a nice combo card with Repurpose, and then Clarity of Purpose, which is a must-have card for a Spider-Ham player. It's maybe the best card in the game with Spider-Ham. I've said that before about Sorcerer Supreme, that it's one of the best cards in the game because it generates 1 resource per round, or 1 card in hand per round. For 2 cost. This generates 2 resources per round for 1 cost on Spider-Ham. That is the best card in the game when paired with Spider-Ham. So we're probably looking at a must-buy hero pack for any serious player, which means then you'll go ahead and try out SPDR as well. Why not? And she's likely to be fun, and especially in multiplayer, but maybe clunky and frustrating in solo. We'll have to try her out and see. So, thank you for watching.